Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over every single ancient ethereal item in Diablo 3 for Season 24. So this is all stats from the PTR as of right now. These weapons are absolutely insane. These are the new godly weapons, the best in slot for pretty much every single build in Diablo 3. You will want this for Season 24. Now, each class will have 3 different ones, but they all basically give you a huge boost to your stats. So let's go ahead and go over every single one of them for every single class. Now, just as a heads up, I do also want to mention that all of the things that are in the blue text will be the same on every single ancient ethereal item that you see with the correct tag name, as in like the Oculus, for example. Let's go over this one real quick. So the Oculus will always roll with that bonus damage, the intelligence, vitality, all resistance, increased damage against elites, 100% damage to all wizard skills, reduces cooldown of all skills by that whatever amount, 7 to 10%, and then critical hits grant arcane power, and then also ignoring durability loss. This will be on every single Oculus. No matter what, they will always roll with all of those blue texts. Now the orange text, there's going to be one passive for your class, and in addition to that, there will also be one bonus legendary power that may be from a two-hander or a one-hander on the weapon that normally would not be able to roll on like that type of a weapon, which is actually really interesting and opens up a little bit of build diversity. But pretty much the blue text is the ones that will be the same on every single Oculus, but the orange ones, those are the random ones. These cannot actually be changed. You cannot reforge these. You cannot use the Enchantress to modify any of these. You cannot craft these. These are only obtained by playing the game, and they're relatively rare. They're in between getting a ancient and a primal, so it's in between that. It's a kind of a huge range, but these are very rare, and it took me a while to go across all the classes and collect all of them. So if you enjoyed the video this far, drop a like on it, because we're going to go over every single one of these. But anyways, yeah, that's something I wanted to go ahead and get out of there really quick, as we've been doing a lot of testing, and I've collected a lot of these just so we can figure out which ones could roll like what stats on them. But yeah, like I said, for the Oculus, those are the rolls, and we will be getting a legendary power and a passive for our class. Another thing I want to mention, since one of the seasonal things that you can do is to obtain every single one of these. If you collect all of them, you will get them as transmogs later down the line for another season. With just the cosmetic skin, it won't give you the effect, as these do not roll over to the next season. But that is something that people do want to do, and if you want to collect all of them, you have to play every single class to get it, which is going to take a long time. So it's usually using smart loot. I haven't gotten, let's say, like a Crusader item on my sorceress or wizard in D3, but nonetheless, that's the Oculus. Next up, moving on to the other item. This is Mangsong's Lesson. These also have individual sounds. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's kind of like low, but nonetheless, each one of these has its own sound, and they all have their unique skins. But anyways, that's Oculus. Next one is Mangsong's Lesson. So you get plus bonus damage, and I'll hold control so you guys can see the values, as that's kind of important. But yeah, we get bonus cold, fire, lightning, arcane, intelligence, 300% damage to all wizard skills. That's static. That one will always stay at 300%. No range on that one. And then you get arcane power, generation, and then you get bonus damage to undead and ignore durability loss. The orange text I'm not going to read because, again, there are overlaps, as this one is Yugioh, and some other classes will get the same legendary power as another class, but some of the other ones, like for example, like Twister, you won't get that on a Crusader. It's not going to be that hard to get like the correct stuff. Another thing I do want to mention, you can, however, use a Ramelandi's gift to socket it and put in a gem. But that's like all the modification that you can do with it. You can't, again, craft these or anything like that. Next up, we got Wizard Spike. So we got Intelligence, all resists, increased attack speed, 100% damage to all wizard skills. We got cooldown reduction, arcane power generation. We've got arcane power, and then ignore durability loss, and then again, you get 2 legendary powers. So those are the wizard ones. Each class in the new season will be getting 3 of them. So that's all the wizard ones. Now, moving on to Monk over here. These are actually assassin blades from Diablo 2. Some of you guys probably recognize some of the artwork. But anyways, you get bonus damage, dexterity, life per hit, 100% damage to all monk skills, reduces cooldown of all skills by a set number. It goes up 10, then reduce all resource cost, and then you get 6 spirit per critical hit. That's like the big thing with this one. And then you get 2% chance to freeze, and then ignore durability loss, monk passive, and then some type of legendary power on this one. This one's like the exploding palm one. And then next up we have Jade Talon, so we get damage, dexterity, all resist, life per hit, 100% damage to monk skills, reduces the cooldown of all skills by 9%, grants 6 spirit per critical hit, ignores durability loss, consecutive hits to enemies increase attack speed by 3%, up to 30% for 3 seconds, then the 2 other like random rolls on it. Another thing I want to mention, you cannot equip 2 of these. Even if it's a one-hander, yeah, you can only equip 1 ethereal item in Season 24. These are like super godly items, so you're only allowed to 1 of them as it increases your damage quite a bit. And don't worry, there will be more interesting ones once we get to them. I'll mention it, as a lot of them are just basically higher stats. There are ones that have a little bit more modifications to potential theory crafting. Next up, though, we have Bartuk's Cutthroat. So we get damage, strength, which is interesting, but you get 1,000 strength, you get strength, dex, crit hit chance. Now this is getting more interesting because it's like, that's a pretty good stat, you know, getting crit hit chance on your weapon, right? Not every weapon normally can roll that in Diablo 3. And then we have life per hit, and then 100% damage to all monk skills, and then they will all have ignore durability loss. I'm not going to repeat that one because it's kind of redundant anyways in Diablo. 2 ethereal items, when they would break, that was it, unless you were just using them for PvP or equipped them on a mercenary. You use them and that was basically it, unless you had like a Zod rune or they would auto repair. But in this game, they do not have durability, so it doesn't matter. And then you have the 2 extra orange stats. Now, Barizza, this is actually one of the best ones, and this is where it gets a little bit more interesting with the Demon Hunter here. So we have the damage, then we have plus another set of damage. They all pretty much have like a 2 plus 100% to damage. It's a huge increase, obviously, but yeah. Then we have main stat, and then we have increased attack speed, then armor, then we have 150% damage to all Demon Hunter skills. So this one's where it gets a little bit more. Like they get 50% more. And it can even go further on Demon Hunter, which I'll show you in a second. And then we have 35% chance to freeze on it. This is huge for Rift Guardians. It basically keeps them in place for the most part. After a certain set of time, they will eventually like break out of it. But a lot of times you can hold most of the enemies, if you're killing them fast enough, in that CC, which is great. And then ignores durability loss. But this is where it gets really interesting. +1 maximum damage per Paragon level up to 800. So this is huge amount of damage for you. And then on top of that, it has basically Ying's recurves effect, which is like the multi-shot attacks faster and deals massive amounts of damage. And then you have the other passive for Demon Hunter. But this one is a lot better. Like that +1 maximum damage per Paragon point is just really huge. And then moving further into creativity here, we have Wind Force. So it has damage, strength, dexterity, attack speed, move speed, chance to knock back, ignore durability loss, but we have 200% damage to all archery skills. So to explain that, that is a set of skills in a category. So in Demon Hunter, you basically would have like, you have like your mastery, your primary, secondary. One of them would be in that category of the archery. So that would be more of a benefit for the legendary power to be something that would be in that correct category. Otherwise, that 200% bonus damage is not that useful at all. In fact, you get nothing out of it, which is terrible. So you guys can see that there are a little bit more like room for a little bit of play with certain things that you need to roll on it. But next up, we have the one-hander. This is the Doom Slinger. It rolls damage, dexterity, increased attack speed, life, chance to deal area damage on hit, then 100% damage to all Demon Hunter skills, and then you get cooldown reduction and the reduction of resource costs. And then next up we have, starting into the Crusader, we have the Redeemer. So it's holy skills deal up to 20% more damage. We have damage. Normally like the percent damage you get is 10%, but it's like 100% on almost every single one of these. Then we have strength, 100% damage to all Crusader skills again. And then we have reduction of cooldown of all skills by 10%, extra damage to undead, extra damage to demons, increased gold and health, pickup radius, whatever. And then we have ignores durability loss, level requirement reduced, and then consecutive hits to enemies increase attack speed by 3%, up to 30% for 3 seconds, and the 2 random ones that you can roll on it. Next up for Crusader, again, every single one of these has 3. This is actually a quest item, Kaleem's Will. If you guys remember, in Act 3, you'd have to collect the parts to make the flail. But we got lightning damage, strength, increased attack speed, crit hit chance, life per hit, 100% damage to Crusader skills, and then reduction of cooldown of all skills, and then we have Wrath Generation, ignoring durability loss, and then the 2 random things that can roll on it, which is the passive and the legendary ability. Next up, we have Ashtoreth's Iron War, and this is probably going to be one of the best ones for every single person that's playing Crusader, unless you're running the 2-piece like Norvold set. So we have the Holy Damage, we have increased damage, we have Strength, increased attack speed, crit hit damage, and that rolls up to 100%, which is basically as good as an Emerald almost. And then we have crit hit chance can roll on it too. So you can get 100% crit hit damage and 10% crit, which is huge after a 100% increased damage and another 100% damage to Crusader skills. And on top of that, you get cooldown reduction. This one is absolutely insane, and it's pretty much the best in slot, I would say, for most Crusader builds. All right. Next up, we're moving on to the Witch Doctor over here. So we have the Gidbin, and it's going to give you damage, intelligence, increased attack speed, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage, and then crit hit chance. So this one also has that insane thing. And then you also have increased damage to all Witch Doctor skills. Then you have cooldown reduction, and then ignore durability loss, and then picking up a health globe increases your movement speed. And then you have your 2 random stats, which is the passive and legendary ability. This one just happened to be Spirit Barrage. And then we have Ariok's Needle. This is actually a one-hander, even though it looks like an item that might be a 2-hander, but nonetheless, it's got poison damage, intelligence, increased attack speed, crit hit damage, crit hit chance, 100% to all Witch Doctor skills, ignores durability loss, and this is another really good one. And this rolled on a one-hander, which is kind of different because a lot of the one-handers won't have this, which is huge. And I was wondering maybe if they meant to make this a 2-handed weapon, but nonetheless, this is huge. That +1 maximum damage per Paragon level up to 800, then this one has like the Bad Medicine's passive, and then Poison Dart 1. And again, this is a one-hander. This is huge. Next up, we have Ghost Flame. So this is going to be a legendary spike. You have arcane damage, intelligence, increased attack speed, 100% damage to all Witch Doctor skills, which most of these just kind of are the same. We have reduction of cooldown of all skills. Then we grant 6 mana per critical hit, which is kind of nice. I believe that's newer here. And then we have increased golden health pickup radius, and then ignore durability loss. Then the consecutive hits to enemies increase attack speed by 3% for 3 seconds. Then next up, we got Barbarian. We have the Grimmer Shred, which looks like a throwing axe over there. It's got bonus to cold, fire, and lightning damage, then plus up to 100% bonus damage. We get increased attack speed, and then we get increased damage against elites, then 100% damage to all Barbarian skills, then we get cooldown reduction, and then we have ignores durability loss, and then killing an elite pack increases move speed by 30% for 7 seconds, and then again you get the 2 tags. And then next up we have Doombringer, which grants us damage, strength, life, critical hit chance increased by up to 10%. We have life per hit, 100% damage to Barbarian skills, ignores durability loss, and reduces the damage of enemies hit by 25% for 5 seconds. So that will be better for, let's say, survivability. And then next up, we have the Grandfather. This is basically the only one people I have seen actually use. This one's good too. So it's increased damage, increased attack speed, 10 to 15% life, critical hit chance increased by up to 10%. Then we have 200 damage to all Barbarian skills. Then we have the reduced cooldown, and then we have ignores durability sets. Then you can get 1,000 to every single set, which honestly, it's not that bad to have that extra armor, and then on top of that, you get the vitality, so not too bad. But the best tag is at the last for that increased maximum damage per Paragon level up to 800. Again, that one's really important. Then we got Necromancer. This is actually one of the best ones too for Necromancer. Soul Harvest is insane. So it's damage, intelligence, all resist crit hit damage, and crit hit chance. Look at that, 97% and 9%. Those are huge numbers over there. Then we have another 100% damage to all Necromancer skills. Like, look at all those rolls. They rolled so well. Then we have that 7% cooldown, and then extra 48 maximum essence, which a lot of people will value, as that usually gets converted with Relentless Shadowhook into basically another 48% damage. And then we also have ignores durability loss, which is not all of them, but then another bonus, consecutive hits to enemies increases attack speed by 3% up to 30% for 3 seconds. So that's huge, and then you get the 2 tags. And this one is supposed to be, I think, used for poison. It was actually like a poison dagger in Diablo 2 for the artwork. We have Black Bog's Sharp. This grants us poison damage. Poison skills deal 20% more damage. Intelligence, increased attack speed, armor, 100% damage to all necromancer skills, reduces the cooldown of all skills by 8%, and 1.6 chance to slow on hit, ignoring durability loss. Then consecutive hits to enemies increases damage by 10% up to 100%. And then lastly over here, we have the Black Hand Key. Now this one does something different as well. This is a little bit more theory crafting, and I like the idea of that. So we have the intelligence, we have all resist attack speed, life, damage to all necromancer skills, and reducing the cooldown of all skills by 10%. And then we have extra damage to undead, durability loss. Cursed enemies are feared in place for 7 seconds. This is something that was really cool. Basically, it can help out with survivability, and perhaps proccing, controlled and pairing effects via crispins can be very good as well. You have 7 seconds of them just being feared in place, so that's pretty good. And then you get the 2 tags. So this is where the game gets a little bit more interesting. So I have a Black Hand Key, and it rolled with Measureschmitz. So Measureschmitz is when you kill an enemy, you reduce the cooldown on one of your skills by 1 second. Normally this is a 2-handed weapon, but I did get a Black Hand Key that did roll on it. I've actually acquired a lot of these different ancient weapons as I progressed in the game, but I just felt like I wanted to mention some of the more obscure ones that could open up the doors for theory crafting, but I'm going to reserve that for like another video, because I know some people just want to know, hey, I want to see every single one of the ancient ethereals, and I got it all for you in a video. It took me some time, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. And if you want to see the video where we do theory craft a little bit more, because again, there are 2-handed abilities on 1-handed weapons, which again opens up the doors for more build possibilities and creative different builds. But as of right now, it seems like most of the things are pretty much the same, but we're just in the day 1 of the PTR, so things will definitely be changing pretty soon once we start thinking of certain things. But I'm curious to know what class you guys plan to play for season 24. For me, I'm definitely rolling Demon Hunter. Bariza is absolutely insane. I actually dropped some gameplay showing this one off and kind of the different mechanics, and I'll link that video down below in case you guys want to just like see the gameplay, as this video was just going over the stats on it. But if you are new here and do want to see more Diablo content and other newer builds from these, because we're gonna definitely try to make some builds off of these, and you're new here, hit subscribe, turn the bell, and you'll definitely see more very soon, guys. But take care, and let me know your thoughts on the new ethereal items down below in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm signing out. Peace.